This is the Mo Patton Sports Videocast with Maurice Patton and Terrence Smithson. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish.
Want to play ball at the next level? You got what it takes? Then you got to provide a professional highlight video to coaches. Recruit Reels is the nation's leading sports highlight video production company, and they're here in Tennessee. Starting at just $3.99, Recruit Reels helps student athletes realize their dream and families afford college. Watch highlight videos and review video packages at recruitreels.com. Call them at 615-896-6076.
I want to welcome everyone into the Mo Patton Sports Videocast. I'm Maurice Patton along with Terrence Smithson. Terrence, despite the weather, it's playoff time.
It is. It is. I'm not going to complain about this weather.
I'm not complaining. I'm just observing. It's unseasonably warm for early November. But
that it is.
But I'm not complaining. I'm sure it's going to change here before we get done. But going to take a look at a few of these playoff games. And the thing is, some of these matchups don't necessarily look that compelling on paper because you're talking about a lot of 1s and 4s at this point. So, of course, that's not to say that these 4s can't beat some of these 1s. That's why they play the game.
Well, from what we've seen this season so far, you're exactly right.
I'm not counting anything out. But one that we do want to take a look at down in Class 1A, Middle Tennessee Christian at 7-3 makes that long drive down to Waynesboro to take on the undefeated Wildcats of Wayne County. MTCS, we talked about them earlier in the year. They were 6-0 at one point.
They were.
Lost 3 of their last 4. We talked about kind of a backloaded schedule for them. They ran into Gordonsville, they ran into Trousdale County, and they ran into Nashville Christian in the next to the last week of the season. They were open last week, so they kind of had 2 weeks to prepare, and I'm sure they were kind of guessing that this was going to be their draw. So they've had 2 weeks to get ready for Wayne County. But 7-3 after a 6-0 start, trying to get some momentum going back, and this isn't an easy trip for them to do so.
No, it's not. And Coach Shambaugh did have an extra week to prepare for Wayne County, and it'll be interesting to see what he does with Joe Peck and the Lillard kid as they prepare for Wayne County Friday night.
As well as the running back Kamari McGowan. So they've got some skilled guys back there, but again, the back end of their schedule was pretty tough. 1-3 coming down the stretch and trying to get things turned around, particularly against this Wayne County team. They feel like they've got a Mr. Football candidate down there in the senior quarterback Preston Rice, the son of Rick Rice, the longtime coach down there, and they've been putting some points up. This past weekend, they defeated Collinwood 37-0. Preston 308 passing yards, 60 rushing yards, threw for 4 touchdowns. So offensively, they've been pretty potent all year.
They have, and what is really going to be the story for them is whether their defense, which has been stout all year, can hold down Joe Peck and crew.
Yeah. You know, when the Cougars are cranking, they've been able to put some points up.
They have with Andrew McConnell and the running back, you call him?
McGowan.
McGowan, yeah. He's a freshman, but boy, he can tote the mail.
So could be an interesting matchup again. Wayne County, one of 8 Middle Tennessee teams to finish the regular season undefeated. So they're going to be looking to stay unblemished, and obviously Middle Tennessee Christian's got some ideas of giving them a blemish and sending them home. So interesting.
Middle Tennessee Christian is looking to make a splash into the postseason for the first time. I'm interested to see how it works out for them.
In 4A, Lipscomb Academy hosts Springfield. Springfield coming off a 41-14 loss to Pearl Cone in their season finale. Lipscomb defeated Kenwood 12-7. This Lipscomb team, they started out like 1-2, I think, and that's not right. They didn't start 1-2. What did they? They were 7-2. So yeah, because they won like their last 5.
Yeah, after that game that got shortened due to lightning.
Yeah, and they lost out at Good Pasture 6-0. But they've kind of put things together since then, and William Phillips has kind of been in the middle of it for them. Their senior running back safety, 17 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown in that Kenwood win this past weekend. Also, the quarterback, Logan Sakarapany.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got it.
Glad you do.
Yeah, 9 carries, 67 yards, had the game-winning touchdown against Kenwood. So again, Lipscomb 7-2. Their 2 losses to Good Pasture, and they lost to Overton earlier this year. So Mustang's been a little tested. Like you said, they had that one game against Page that got rained out or lightninged out, or however you'd care to refer to it, that they didn't make up. So only a 9-game regular season for them. But obviously the big guy for Lipscomb is the defensive lineman Rutger Rietmeyer, the Oregon commitment.
Yeah, Mr. Rietmeyer is going to be a handful for Springfield to contend with. And unless they get him under control, it could be a long evening for them.
And he's tough to control. I saw him a couple of weeks ago against Spring Hill, and you know, when he decides he wants to make a play in the backfield,
he makes a play
in the backfield. Absolutely. So Springfield, again, they lost their finale 41-14. They come in on a 2-game losing streak, having lost the week before to Macon County. But their quarterback, Dwayne Buckner, 154 offensive yards and a touchdown in that Pearl Cone game. He's kind of a pass-run combination for him, and he's the one that stirs the drink for them offensively. Springfield got off to a 5-3 start before they lost those last 2 games. But prior to those 2 losses, they had scored 50 points in back-to-back weeks. So the Yellow Jackets can throw some points up.
They can throw some points up, and it's no shame losing the Pearl Cone because a lot of teams have done it this year in big fashion.
No doubt. Pearl Cone 9-1 heading into the playoffs, went to the state finals last year in 4A and looking to do so again. But big matchup here in 4A when Springfield goes to Lipscomb Academy. In 3A, East Nashville at 4-6, the number 4 team coming out of Region 5 3A, goes to Region 6 3A champion Fairview, the undefeated Yellow Jackets at 10-0. East Nashville coming off of a 27-21 win over White House Heritage in their season finale. And when you talk about East Nashville, obviously it starts with Jacob Phillips, the linebacker who's committed to Oklahoma.
Yeah, big, fast, strong. Hey, he's everything you want, and you know why Oklahoma wants him.
Absolutely. I was also looking at Alabama and Notre Dame in his final mix. So it's not like Oklahoma just got a surprise when they got him. This guy's a pretty well-known commodity, and I'm sure Fairview's going to know him before the end of the night.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough assignment for them, but I think Jackson Clevenger and Mackenzie Vial will have a good task for trying to stop Mr. Phillips.
And you know, we talked about it on the podcast earlier this week. When you talk about sideline to sideline, this guy's it.
He is, and that's what you look for, is a guy that's big, fast, and athletic and can step up and plug the hole and chase the ball to the sideline and make a play.
And he does that, and I think he's going to have an opportunity to do that Friday night. Fairview comes in with a couple of guys coming off some pretty big performances in their 56-11 win over Harpeth last weekend. Jake Bethard, 14 carries, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hunter Caldwell, 11 carries, 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they were pretty ground-oriented in that win. Had to come from behind. Started out a little slow. It was 11-8 Harpeth at one point, and then Fairview just kind of turned on the jets and pulled away. Ranked number 7 in the state in the Associated Press 3A poll, and again, they're undefeated.
Fairview keeps creeping up. They were 9 last week, they're 7 this week, and being behind against Harpeth is no shame either, because Harpeth is now 8-2 going into the playoffs, so they have a good football team.
Absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit more about them in a second, but big matchup here. Fairview has scored 35-plus points in 7 of their 10 games, so again, another team that has been offensively proficient over the course of the season.
Yeah, their defense has been very good as well, and you don't get to be 10-0 without playing good defense.
No question. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Mackenzie Vial and that Jackson Clevenger, they bring size and athleticism to that front for Fairview, and that's what you need. You need big linemen that can move.
And don't forget about Josh Ortiz-Derrick back there at linebacker for Fairview as well. So this one should be interesting, especially with Fairview looking to get the taste of a 39-0 opening round loss to Stratford last year out of their mouth. So keep an eye on this one. We got some more to talk to you about when we come back. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors Mo Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building.
Express Employment Professionals, North Nashville and downtown, owned by respected business leaders Christy and Jason Patrick, is the premier employment agency in the community. Express is one of the community's largest employers, consistently working over 500 people at over 125 private businesses each week in Davidson County. Whether you are a company looking for the next great employee or a candidate looking for the next great job, Express is the employment resource for you. Call them at 615-313-3690 or visit their website at www.expresspros.com/InNashvilleTN. Like them on Facebook at Express Employment Professionals, Nashville North and downtown.
Terrence, staying in 3A, Cheatham County, who had an interesting situation over the weekend, goes to undefeated Stratford in the opening round. Cheatham County apparently played an ineligible player in their 14-13 win over East Hickman and wound up forfeiting 1-0. So I think the way I understand it is they went from the number 2 seed to the number 4 seed.
So they just forfeited one game?
No, they forfeited that game for playing an ineligible player. They played an ineligible player in that specific game and wound up forfeiting.
Well, it's fortunate they only lost one game, because usually when that occurs, you lose all your games.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you managed to not play a guy until the final game of the year. Yeah, but interesting situation over there for the Cubs. So they go to Stratford, which defeated Greenbrier in the finale 21-16. And Stratford dealing with having lost Josh Trueheart, the quarterback, who was diagnosed with a torn ACL. But Robert Lilly Sneed is continuing to play pretty well for him, apparently.
Got a great coaching staff over there, and for him to come in and play that well, that lets you know they were developing him all season long. They just didn't wait till Josh Trueheart went down and decided, I think I need to get him ready to play.
Yeah, and I think there was probably some benefit in them being able to score some points in some games earlier this year, and they were probably able to get him in some games where it wasn't quite as pivotal, and so that wasn't his first time out when they did throw him in under the lights, so to speak.
Exactly. And they still have Alexander Kelly and Big Frank Gupton and Zyshawn Simmons over there. So he's got plenty of help.
And he's got Terrell Carter to turn and hand it to. Carter with 14 carries for 216 yards and a pair of touchdowns in that Greenbrier win last week. So he's got a little bit of a security blanket back there to work with.
Oh yeah, they're not going to make him win the game. They just need him to manage the game.
Not lose it. Yeah. So Stratford comes in ranked number 3 in the state in the Associated Press 3A poll. Oh, and number 10 in Mo's Elite 11. Be sure and check that out on the website. Again, Cheatham County lost by forfeit. They lost the previous week to Harpeth, who we talked about earlier, lost to them 42-30. So they've lost 4 of their last 5. So an wounded Cubs team going over to Stratford Friday night.
Yeah, anytime something like that happens, it causes a little anxiety for the staff and the players. And going to Stratford is a task no one wants right now, because Stratford's playing great football.
They really are. And that kind of adds to the anxiety level, I guess, doesn't it?
It does. When you look over and see Big Frank Gupton at 310, 6'4", 310, and Zyshawn Simmons at 6'3", 285 playing tight end, you're like, oh, wow. We stepped into it.
And Kelly's not small.
Oh, no, he's not.
And they hand it to him.
And they hand it to him.
Yes.
And the lead blocker is Thomas Tate. He's 6 foot 250. They bringing some meat down there, buddy.
Yeah, good luck getting in front of that. Going over to 5A. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Region 6-5A. We're here at Hillsboro. We're going to get into the boroughs here in just a second. But a team that fell over here a couple of weeks ago, Gallatin, goes to Independence, the defending 5A state champion. And I guess the biggest question about Gallatin at this point is, will we see Jordan Mason on Friday night?
Well, that is a big question, but this is a matchup nightmare for Independence, the defending state champions. I know this is a 1 versus 4, but they played the 4th seed out of the region with Cane Ridge, Hendersonville, Hillsboro Beach, and Cane Ridge and Gallatin were the two that, in my opinion, Independence wouldn't want to face, didn't match up well with. And this could be a real mothball game for Independence if Gallatin is Gallatin and run 95% of the time like they do, because they have those 300-pound offensive tackles on each end, Zach Howell and Wyatt Tabor, checking in at 6'1", 320, and 310 respectively, and they collapse the whole side in that zone blocking scheme. And it could be a long night for that small Independence defensive front.
That's an interesting matchup that you mentioned there, because again, Michael Weathers and some of those guys in that defensive line, they are active, but they're not terribly big.
No, and that's a big front for Gallatin, and they top it off with a tight end, Lamarius Majors, at 6'1", 288 pounds. That's going to be a tall task for that Independent squad.
So, you know, that makes it even more important that Landon Guidry and some of those guys back there in the secondary come bring the wood.
They're going to have to bring the wood. They're going to have their best game to contain this Gallatin team. And the last time Independence faced a team like this season was Smyrna. And Smyrna outgained them 2-1 in total yardage, but they shot themselves in the foot by committing 7 turnovers in the game. If Gallatin takes care of the football, it could be a long night for Independence.
It's interesting. That's interesting. We'll see how you pick this one here in a little bit. But, you know, Gallatin can create some problems for Independence when Gallatin has the ball. Independence can cause some problems when they've got the ball as well. The quarterback, Brandon Hines, has really come along as a senior. He's thrown for more than 2,100 yards, 24 touchdowns, got a stable to throw it to, including Guidry, TJ Sheffield, Kendrell Scurry. Owen Murphy caught a touchdown pass in this past game against Laverne, an Austin Peay commitment. So they've got some weapons in the passing game. And if you get too conscious of them throwing the ball, Troy Henderson back there has had a nice season, having transferred down here from Louisville as a junior. So so they can create some issues for you when they've got the ball as well. I think they've scored like 47 points a game, something along those lines, enough to give some defensive coordinators some problems.
They have, and they got a great passing attack, but they're balanced as well. They ran the ball for a lot of yards, and they don't just throw the ball. They're a balanced attack. Coach Scott Blade does a great job of balancing it out and not letting you load up on one thing. And when they do pass, they have to be very cognizant of Marcus DeVault and Desmond Chambers, the defensive backs / wide receivers for Gallatin. Those guys they don't get many opportunities on offense due to the run heavy attack, but they have a lot of interceptions, big plays back there for Gallatin.
Yeah, I think DeVault took one to the house earlier this year, and Chambers is a guy who qualified for the state track meet in the 1 and 200. So if he gets the ball in his hands, especially going the other way, might be tough to catch up with. So this one's one to keep an eye on. Again, like you said, it's one of those 1 versus 4s, but might be one of those that deserves a little more attention than it may get. Another matchup involving this region is these guys here, Hillsboro Burroughs. They were 2-4 at one point. A lot of folks kind of fell off the bandwagon, so to speak. They've won their last 4. Won last week against Beach, 35-12. Hell Beach. Beach finished up with 227 yards. 209 of those were on the ground, but they had to carry it 48 times to get that. So Hillsboro really made them earn it on the ground, really held them down. They were up 35-6 at one point in this ball game. And just when you think Hillsboro can't get anything done in the passing game, they threw for 3 touchdowns in this one between Darius Smith and Taiwan Goodner. So You know Craig Clayton's going to throw the ball anyway, but they've really kind of struggled with that portion of their game over the course of this season. They might be getting that right about now.
They seem to be gelling at just the right time. As a coach, you want your team playing their best ball at this time of the year. And Hillsborough, as you stated before, they've been in playoff mode now for about 5 weeks due to that slow start. So they've won like 4 in a row, and they're playing good football right now. And Coach Clayton has done a great job developing his quarterback, and it's going to be interesting to see just how well they do against Stewart's Creek.
And Stewart's Creek coming in at 6-4, and it's really kind of been a roller coaster for them. The Redhawks started out 0-2, won 4 straight, dropped 2 more. Now they've won their last 2. They defeated Lincoln County 41-6 last week after a 38-13 win over Summit the week before. And that Summit game was particularly significant in that it marked the return of Ryan Haraway, a kid who was supposed to be their quarterback all season, injured a knee, 2nd game of the year, and he's made a difference for him in his return because he makes them a lot more two-dimensional. They went heavy run with him out, and it was successful for him in some spots, and they developed a run game with Keyshawn Walker and Nathan Wright and Trey Bailey's. I struggle with that one every week, but I can spell it. So anyway, very talented young man. Also a big-time baseball player for him over there. So they've got some offensive weapons that they can spread Hillsborough out and create some problems.
Well, with that wing T offense, you get a lot of ball carriers, and with Haraway back, that gives them a passing option that they haven't had for the last 8 games, as you stated. And it's going to be real interesting to see how they work him in, whether they work him in as effectively this week as they did last week.
The thing is, 6'4", 230, coming off of a knee injury, you kind of know where he's going to be.
Right.
Which, with this Hillsborough defense, with Ben Hutch and Honeysucker and some of those other guys, if they've got a stationary quarterback, it could get interesting.
Chicken dinner.
So keep an eye on this one. Hey, we've got a few more we want to talk to you about when we get back. Stay tuned. Tzatziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Tzatziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tzatziki'scafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish. At National Playmakers Academy, developing NPA athletes comes in threes. NPA develops its student athletes' academic, social, and football-specific skills. Next, NPA develops them for better exposure today, recruitment tomorrow, and college education through scholarships for the rest of their lives. We are proud of the outstanding athletes we have developed. We are more proud of the college graduates we have prepared. Work with National Playmakers Academy for developing gifted athletes into productive citizens.
Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers combine the best of bowling, games, food, drink, and fun. For all Middle Tennessee residents, Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers are the ideal destination for family entertainment. The safe, friendly environment is perfect for birthday parties for kids of all ages or business outings for adults who work too hard. Our friendly staff and fun atmosphere will help create those enjoyable memories with your coworkers, friends, and loved ones. Don't forget to sign your kids up for our Kids Bowl Free summer program. Visit us online at strikeandsparebowling.com or come see us in person at any of our nearby Strike and Spare locations in Donaldson, Hendersonville, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and the Tusculum area for more details. We'll see you soon.
Terrence, a few more games we want to take a look at coming up this Friday night in the opening round of the playoffs. We mentioned Harpeth. They go to Goodpasture in a matchup of 8-2 teams. And this Harpeth team, like you said, they can put some points up. They got some talent, particularly in the run game. We talked about them a couple of weeks ago going into that Fairview game. Drake Fulham and Connor Barber, the touchdown scorer for them. When they get down there in short yardage situation, he's kind of the guy to look out for. The quarterback Walker Weatherly is also a weapon for him. But Goodpasture comes in with Jermaine Mason, who can hurt you running the ball, catching the ball, returning the ball. He's kind of been a jack of all trades for Goodpasture, and they've really ridden him.
They have. Coach Jocelyn's done a great job over there incorporating Cameron Tompkins and that crew together. I mean, he's playing offensive guard, defensive tackle, fullback. I mean, you name it, he's playing it.
And Cody Crider's another one who moves around a lot for him.
Hey, you put your players on the field and put them in position to make plays.
We had Coach Jocelyn on the Strike and Spare podcast last week and had a fun conversation with him. But I just can't get over, this is a team that came into the year on a 21-game losing streak, and then they lost their season opener.
They got tired of losing, and he got these players to buy in, and they changed the culture of that program, and they're in the playoffs, and hey, they can make a run.
I'll tell you what, if it's as simple as getting tired of losing, I think that there are a lot of coaches out there that would kind of like to know what exactly it was that Coach Jocelyn was able to get across to them that they got tired of losing, because it's been impressive.
It was a process, I'm sure. Coach Jocelyn started it last year, and toward the end of the season they started to catch on, and they brought it on over into this year.
Yeah.
And they've ridden it well.
They have. Their only loss since that season opening loss to VGA was a 15-14 loss to Stratford, which
right.
we keep mentioning them hurting folks' feelings, but I think it just speaks to the job that Coach Fitzgerald and that staff have done over there this year. Another game we want to keep an eye on, Pearl Cone. We talked about the Firebirds, 9-1. They've got Kenwood coming to town. Kenwood is a team that just kind of has us scratching our head a little bit, because they've got the kid Antoine Branch. He's a Purdue commitment. He recently got an offer from Wisconsin and from Iowa State. Went for 300+ yards a couple of weeks ago. Had like 2,600 yards last year. Set the single season record for Clarksville area schools. But apparently there's not a whole lot else going on for the Knights other than him, and it'll be interesting to see if A, he's enough, or if B, Pearl Cone's defense can keep him in check.
Well, I would go with B, because Pearl Cone's defense has been hard on everyone this season, and you don't make the run they've made without playing great defense, and I think Coach has got them ready.
Coach Brunetti, if he doesn't have them ready, it won't be from a lack of trying. And offensively, you got to love Jay Parker over there. He's absolutely electric. And the sophomore quarterback, Xavier Shepard, has really come on for them over the course of the year. This might be a team to keep an eye on past this week. In 5A, again, comes back to Region 6. Beach at 7-3 goes to Shelbyville at 8-2.
That's going to be a good game, I think. Beach with that three-headed monster of Peach, Van Zant, and Williamson going up against that passing attack of Shelbyville. It'll be interesting to see who prevails in that game. Shelbyville has some size they can throw at you, and they really run first, but they balance it out to where you really, if you stop one, they can beat you with the other one.
I'm interested to see how well Shelbyville's defense holds up, because they've shown an ability to give up some points. Gave up 71 to Summit earlier this year. So if they can hold Beach down, that offense, like you said, with Jamal Harden and some of those guys back there, the sophomore at quarterback, they can do some damage, but they've got to hold Beach down to give that offense a chance. So this is one to keep an eye on, I think. Also, Summit at 7-3 goes to undefeated Cane Ridge. And you talk about a team that likes to run the ball, that's Summit.
Wing T, they run that 3-4 defense and that wing T offense, and they have, like most wing T teams, multiple ball carriers, but Ty Carter is their main horse. And that Cane Ridge front featuring Mr. Kabulu, I think they're going to put clamps on them this weekend.
Yeah, I think that, Cane Ridge is going to want to run the ball, and they've done that pretty well. And like you said, Ty Carter's rushed for 1,200 yards, 17 touchdowns. I just don't think they've got enough of a passing threat to make Cane Ridge have to honor it. And if all they have to worry about is the run with that defense, it's going to be a tough night for Summit, I think. Over in Division II AA, Pope John Paul II has a home game. They've got Baylor coming in here, and a few weeks ago Baylor made the trip up I-24. They came up here undefeated at the time, went back with a 35-0 loss to Brentwood Academy, and it's kind of been downhill ever since for the Red Raiders. They finished up 6-4, but again, they were ranked #1 in the state at one point. So it'll be interesting to see how they come in here against this senior-laden JP2 group.
That Eagle loss really done them in, as you said, and they haven't been the same since. And JP2 is on the upswing. They are really doing well. Coach Justin Gossinger has really had that program on a roll as of late, and I expect him to keep rolling.
I think so. And again, they've got some seniors, Ben Brooks at quarterback, Chris Bell back there on the back end of that defensive unit. I think these guys have really kind of been working toward this, and it would not surprise me at all to see them win this ball game and take a step in the D2 AA playoffs. So some interesting matchups out there, even as it's the first week and you do have a lot of 1s and 4s. I still think that there are some games out there that are going to be pivotal and worth keeping an eye on. We're going to try to pick a few of them. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish.
Want to play ball at the next level? You got what it takes? Then you got to provide a professional highlight video to coaches. Recruit Reels is the nation's leading sports highlight video production company, and they're here in Tennessee. Starting at just $3.99, Recruit Reels helps student athletes realize their dream, and families afford college. Watch highlight videos and review video packages at recruitreels.com. Call them at 615-896-6076.
Hey, Mostradamus, 1-5 2 weeks ago. When Mostradamus bounces back, he bounces back hard. 6-0 last week.
Oh, were you 6-0?
6-0.
It's 5-1. I thought I did good.
You did?
Really good.
No, you did do good, but you missed that Beach Hillsborough game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So Cane Ridge at Gallatin last week. We both had Cane Ridge, and the Ravens took care of business 54-28. Beach came over here to Hillsborough. You had the Buccaneers. Hillsborough won that one 35-12. I picked it. Not necessarily the margin. Harpeth went to Fairview. We both had the Yellow Jackets. They finished up their undefeated season. Trousdale went to Nashville Christian. We had the Eagles. The Eagles took care of business. Marshall County at Page. As much as Terrence struggled picking against his alma mater, I think it was a good move. The Tigers coming up with the 51-0 win, and Centennial making the long drive up to Paris, taking care of Henry County up there, 34-7. Big win for the Cougars. We both had them. So not a bad night.
No, not bad at all.
It beats the heck out of 1-5.
It sure does. I'll take it.
Yeah. Middle Tennessee Christian at Wayne County.
I'm going to go with Wayne County in this one. They've been there before, and I think they've just got too many horses for MTCS to overcome.
I think you're right. I really like the job that Preston Rice is doing. I think he's going to have a shot at being Mr. Football in Class 1A. Got a chance to see him in some 7-on-7 this summer, and looks really good. I like the Wildcats in this one. Springfield at Lipscomb.
Lipscomb has problems scoring points, but they have the big guy, so I'm going to go with Lipscomb.
I think they're starting to kind of get some things figured out offensively, and one of the things they figured out is William Phillips needs to handle the football a lot. And if that's the case, I like the Mustangs in this one. East Nashville at Fairview.
Fairview, I think the Yellow Jackets are on a roll now to prove that they belong in the top 10 and they want to keep rising.
I think you're right. I think they really do feel like they've got something to prove, and I think Chris Hughes has really hammered that home for them all year long. So I think this may be a little bit of a coming out party for them now that we're in the playoffs. I like the Yellow Jackets at home. Cheatham County at Stratford.
Stratford, the Spartans are just too much for most teams right now.
I think that they've kind of had some injuries. I think they've kind of had some off-field issues, but I think that they're getting right at the right time. I like the Spartans in this one. Gallatin at Independence.
I'm going to go with Independence purely because Gallatin is just so one-dimensional. Coach Scott Blade's a defensive coach, and he's going to find a way Don't know how, but he'll find a way to win.
Well, the X factor in that one, again, is whether or not Jordan Mason is able to play after that ankle injury that he suffered over at Cane Ridge last week. If he does play, it's close. If he doesn't, it's less close. But I like Independence either way. And this one here, Stewart's Creek coming to Hillsborough.
I think Hillsborough going to have some barbecue chicken in this one. I think Mr. Ben Hutch and Joseph Honeysucker and Jeremiah Edwards are going to have a big night.
You know, we've had a chance to watch these guys a little bit off camera, and they certainly look like they're ready to win a ball game. I like Hillsborough to get their 5th in a row here. That's going to do it for this week's Mo Patton Sports video. Be sure and check out the website, mopattonsports.com, for all of our latest stuff as far as the 4-down territory, Mo's Elite 11. Check out our top 11 teams in the Mid-State. This will be the last one because from here on out, the playoffs are going to decide who the best ones are anyway. Also, Mostradamus' pick 6. Again, Mostradamus 6-0 last week. Let's see what he does this week. Hashtag Beat Mostradamus on Twitter. If you get more of the pick 6s right than I do, you go into a drawing for a gift card from Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe. 8, I almost said 6. 8 locations in Middle Tennessee. One of them's near you. Also, be sure and check out the Strike and Spare Coaches Show podcast as we catch up with a couple of coaches who will be involved in some of these key opening round playoff matchups this weekend. Hey, that's Terrence Smithson. I'm Maurice Patton. We'll see you at the ball game.